Lettermen have always known that the minute they laid eyes on me.
No interest in you, huh? Well, of course, if they'd met you the way I did first, dashing into a train all white and shaking as if the police were after you, and then collapsing against a seat. And this, mind you, at the last minute as the train was pulling out. They would have thought you were an escaped convict, too.
Mary.
And, of course, that would interest anyone in a romantic kind of way. And then you turn out to be a poor, nervous individual who's just getting over a frightful illness. And that would interest anyone in a maternal kind of way.
Mary, stop that this minute.
Oh, Mother, he likes it. Besides, it does him good to be teased. Well, just look at him, Mother. He's not the same man who came here a week ago.
That's my cooking, not your teasing.
Oh, it's both, isn't it, Bill?
Yes, it's both.
There, you see, Mother?
And it'll be all over in a week. I'll have to go back to Boston, that library.
Library? Oh, you mean you work in a public library?
Well, no, it's a bookman's library.
Oh.
Very academic, stuffy. I never told you before because I thought you'd think I was stuffy.
Oh, poor old Bill. Do you hate it?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm proud of it. To work in a bookman's, you have to be something of a scholar, you see. And all my life I've loved books, so...
Oh, I haven't. A book cheated me out of my inheritance 20 years ago.
Tell him about it, Mother.
Oh, no, dear. It's too long a story.
Yes, but Bill might be able to help us. Bill, how could something be written in English, but my mother, if she saw it, wouldn't know it was in English?
You mean if they were deliberately trying to disguise the fact?
Yes.
Well, you could write English words in another alphabet. Hebrew, Arabic. As long as the fellow was a scholar and...
Well, he was a scholar. Mm-hmm. He used to have his own school for boys up at Bretfield, Mass.
Who?
Well, this uncle of Mother's, a Dr. John Rant, he was a horrible, nasty...
Wait a minute, Mary. John Rant. I know that name. It means something. See, it's connected with a book. Schoolmaster. Oh, if only I could remember it.
Now see what you've done. Bill's all upset.
Really, I must remember it. I've got to remember it. I feel that I've met your uncle quite recently.
Well, that you couldn't have done, Bill. He's awfully dead.
Dead?
20 years ago, in October 1931.
1931, that's it. The tractate Meadoff was donated to to the Bookman's Library in 1931 by Dr. John Rant.
The what was donated, Bill?
The tractate Meadoff. It's a very rare edition of the Talmud.
Well, that's Hebrew. The Talmud's in Hebrew, isn't it?
Yes?
Well, Bill, for heaven's sake, was anything written in that book?
Well, no, I never got my hands. Schoolmaster. No, that's crazy.
What?
But if it wasn't, if it was true, what was written in that book, Mary?
A will?
In favor of your mother?
Yes.
A lot of money?
A fortune.
20 years ago, but your mother didn't inherit it. Who did?
Well, a cousin of hers, an heir by a previous will.
What was his name, Mary? Was it John Eldred?
Oh! Yes.
I see. So John Eldred has been spending a fortune these last 20 years that rightfully belongs to your mother.
Yes.
And he knows that, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he also knows about a will in a book. Who told him? You, Mrs. Simpson?
I had to. When my uncle died, my cousin came at once to claim the house at Bretfield. So I had to ask him to let me search through the books.
Instead of which, he locked up all the books and ordered Mother out of the house.
And that was the end of that, because he must have discovered the book and the will and destroyed it.
No.
Oh, but he must have.
Then why is he trying so hard to find a book in a Boston library?
Well, you mean that Hebrew one, that tractate something?
Yes, Mary, the one that was donated to us 20 years ago. Only I don't know why it took Eldred so long to locate it.
I do. He didn't know any more than Mother which book the will was written in. So he had to search every book at Bretfield, page by page, and Mother says there were thousands of them.
I never saw so many in all my life. Why, the catalog was as thick as your hand.
The catalog, that's it. He found out what books were missing after his search failed through the catalog. Then he went to all the dealers, the libraries, until at last, a year ago, he finally found out what book it was and where it was.
And he came for it a year ago?
Yes, that's why I saw him running down the stairs.
Well, then he did find the will. He did destroy it.
No, Mary. Not then and not 2 weeks ago either when he tried again. both times he was driven away by a little old man. Oh, looked like a schoolmaster.
Oh, no, Bill.
Yes, Mary. And it's the same man that stopped me from getting on the New Hampshire train. So that I could come here, to you, to hear this story. Mrs. Simpson, I think your Uncle John Rant does want you to have that fortune. And I think he wants me to help you to get it.
Can I help you?
Bill, we weren't expecting you back for another week.
Judge, well, I'm not really back. I'm here on an errand. I want to borrow a book.
New Hampshire that dull?
Well, matter of fact, I never got to New Hampshire. But that's a long story. I'll tell you later. I'll go upstairs now and get the book.
Hey, wait, you're still an invalid now. Let me get the book. Tell me the name of it and I'll get it for you.
Well,
Come on, tell me.
well, I suppose there'll be no trouble. It's a tractate me dog. It's for Mrs. Out? Well, it can't be.
Well, yeah, we sent it out by parcel post.
When?
Yesterday, a member wrote in and asked...
Who?
Who was it, Peter?
John Eldred. Lives in Bretfield.
That's it.
You mean you went upstairs and got the tractate me dog for Eldred? And no one stopped you?
Well, who'd stop me?
Well, I don't know. I guess I'm wrong. Guess I'll have to go to Bretfield.
Mrs. Dawkins. Mrs. Dawkins, has a package come for me?
Oh, yes, Mr. Eldred. I'll get it just as soon as I light up.
Get it now, Mrs. Dawkins. The lights can wait, and I can't. It's a long way home from the village. And since I've had my bad heart, I shouldn't drive after dark.
Oh, yes, of course. All right.
And hurry, will you please?
Yes, yes. Oh, here you are.
Oh, yes, thanks. Thanks. Good night.
Mr. Eldred, what is it?
Hey, Eldred!
Punch!
What's that?
I don't know. He's dead?
Better turn on some lights. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, he's alive. Just had a bad shock, that's all. You better get a doctor. I'll take care of things here. You lost your homes, haven't you? He's gone. You see? Here it is. On the flyleaf of the book. Writing. Hebrew words, but they aren't really Hebrew words. They're English words. When I got back to Boston last night, I took it to an expert in the language, and he read it to me last night in the presence of a lawyer, and it's a perfectly valid will, leaving everything to your mother.
Oh, wait till Mother hears this. She's rich.
Yes, she is. So are you, Mary.
Well, of course I am. Aren't you glad?
Yes, I'm glad, Mary.
Why, no, you're not, Bill, and I don't understand what... Oh. Bill, do you mean you'd stop liking a girl if she, if she suddenly had money?
Well, I couldn't very well stop liking her, could I? But... And I couldn't very well ask her to marry me either, could I?
Well, I think you could. Oh, darn Dr. Joseph Rant. Look what he's done now.
Mary. Mary, will you marry me?
Oh, yes, Bill. When?
The sooner the better, before he tries to put this right, too. He's made amends to your mother, so let's let him rest in peace.
I suppose a weird, practical joker like Dr. Rant can be a pretty nice fellow. In his place, that is. And this time, let's hope he stays there.